Hello everyone and welcome to this week's video. If you haven't already, please remember to hit the subscribe button, and if you like the video and hit the like button as well. Both those things really help our channel to grow. And we're over 1,000 subscribers now, so we're delighted with that. You join me in the milking parlour. The cows pretty much have been out every day since the last video that you saw, so it was touch and go the first day, but we've managed to get them out every day since, and that's on both farms. So we're delighted with that. What we want to get done today is a grass walk on both farms, just to see what sort of grass situation we're in. There's not a lot of grass out there, which is fantastic news for us because we only have low covers for cows to graze, and that means we'll be able to get them out just by day if it happens so. But there's a few wet paddocks on both farms that are always saturated this time of the year, real swamps now, and they're dry at the minute. Dry as the yard pretty much. We've had an east wind here and a northeast wind all week since the last video, and the whole place is dried up. So what myself and Paul are actually going to do is let the cows out at night, day and night, on both farms until we get those few wet fields grazed off, now that we have a chance to get them done this time of year, because we'd never have a chance normally. There's some rain coming Friday and some Saturday. We're keeping an eye on the forecast. If it comes very wet, we have dry paddocks left, so we didn't graze any of the dry paddocks yet because the wet ones were dry. So the aim on this side of type always is to get the wet paddocks grazed as soon as you can get them grazed, and we've got the chance to get them grazed now. And we've dry ones left, and then if it comes wet or we get rain Friday and Saturday or next week is broken, we should still be able to keep cows out by day then on all the dry paddocks that we have. Cows are absolutely pumping milk here. The contrast to last year is crazy. It's like night and day, and everyone I'm talking to, cows are milking really well everywhere, and that's fantastic news for all of us. It's due to the weather, a bit shorter winter, better weather now. Everyone is getting grass into cows, and we're all probably feeding them a bit more than we normally would because the milk price is where it is, and it's certainly paying off. So good yield. This farm here would have the handier, smaller size cows on and all the heifers, and they're doing 24 and a half litres, so about 2 kilos of milk solids here. And then the other farm, the rented farm, then are the older kind of cows and the bigger sized cows, and they have hit 28 litres up there, and they're doing 2.3 kilos of milk solids. So I'll go through their diet and what they're on in another video, but they're pumping out the milk, so everything we're putting in we're certainly getting back out and more. Now this is just an observation I have for the farmers that are watching this video here, but you'll be blown over at the minute if you're talking to anybody about how good things are going at the minute. Now, the weather is great, and the farmers will tell you the prices are so good for everything: beef, milk, calves, the whole lot. I feel like farmers, well, you're your own worst enemy really, but I feel like they suffer from the Stockholm syndrome. If it is, I haven't looked it up, but I think it's Stockholm syndrome. That's where when somebody is taken hostage by somebody and is in captivity for a long time, when they're released they actually miss their hostage. And I think that could be used to describe farmers in Ireland, and certainly from what I'm hearing. For me, I don't see this crazy price that farmers are talking about being paid for all this stuff, and they've the whole thing wound up so much that there's suppliers coming into the yard here, and the first thing they're coming out with is, isn't the thing going quite well at the minute? They're making a right few pound. You know, I'll decide whether we're making a right few pound or not. I don't want to hear suppliers, people we're buying products off, telling me that things are going well. I don't go into the suppliers' yards in the year that it's going well, which for them, which is every year by the way, and tell them how well they're getting on. what's being paid at the minute isn't, in my opinion, and you can let me know if I'm wrong in the comments, but in my opinion isn't 1 cent above where it absolutely needs to be to make this crazy job, that's exactly what it is, make sense. We're coming up to, on this farm here now, and most spring calf and dairy herds are going to be the same. We're coming up now to day 50 here in a row, without any breaks, without any days off. That's alarm off at 4:45 a.m. every morning and every second night, keeping an eye on calving cameras, and up at 2 and 3 a.m. and some nights with no sleep at all. I could guarantee that nobody watching this video and us here this year, when everyone says the thing is going so well, will go out the gate or up the lane at the end of the week with 800 or 1,000 euros in their pocket, take home, draw-ons for themselves. And you can go get a job at anything, in any industry, anywhere else, and get that no problem. Just look at the people that come into the yard here, to your yard and our yard. They're all taking that home. The vet is the most comparable to the hours that are required of work. In the springtime, they'll be there at 3 a.m. when you're in trouble. They're at the end of the phone when you pick it up. It's a tough job, but they'll take that home at the end of the week. The suppliers are driving into the yard in brand new Toyota Land Cruisers, going around giving advice on how to feed cows. They're taking that home at the end of the week. How is it unacceptable for the farmer to not be able to take that home at the end of the week? And honestly, I feel like if I had a discussion with some farmers and said we should be taking home, 1,000 euros a week at the end of the week for this, to make this crazy job make sense, they'd tell you were mad. And that's what I mean by farmers being their own worst enemy. It shouldn't be acceptable for us to have the last 2 years that we've had. The good, and most people don't even follow their financials, so they don't even really know what's going on. But the good will be took out this year now, filling the hole that's in everyone's yard that's left after the last 2 scandalous years. And usually what happens is we'll have a good year this year and it'll be followed by a bad year next year. That's usually how it works out. That's how markets go. That's how this job seems to go. And next year, if it's bad, will be justified away by fellow farmers and suppliers when they come to the yard, by the fact that we had a good year this year. So for some reason it should be okay then to take a bad year. So I don't get this. This is a great year. This is a good year. Isn't it fantastic? All the rest. For me, to make this crazy job make sense, it's exactly where it needs to be at the minute. And we're still not taking home 1,000 a week at the end of the week. So until farming gets to there, in my opinion, we're still lagging behind any other industry. And this is why we can't get new people into it. Young people just can't come into this job because there's just not enough in it. And we live in a world now where the majority of the working population is taking home the 800 or 1,000 euros a week, and that means that everything else comes up in line with that, and it costs that to have a life now in Ireland, to build a house, to have rare children, to go away for a holiday. That's needed, and farming hasn't kept up with that. So look, I think there should be no reason, there can be no excuse for it to come below where it is at the minute. We're absolutely where it needs to be, and it could come up. I think farmers, and certainly young people, young farmers, my generation watching this now, it should not be acceptable that we can't pay ourselves 1,000 euros a week take home. So anyway, look, that's my rant over for today, and I won't use this channel as a ranting channel, don't worry. I have Instagram and TikTok for that, but I just wanted to get that point out there for any farmers that are watching. Don't overplay this year. There's nothing amazing about it. It's great, yeah, it's where it needs to be. We've had 2 scandalous years. There's holes left in everyone's yard from the last 2, and the good is going to go out this year, filling them up. So don't be afraid to hit the people that come to the yard that know nothing about you or your business, come into your yard telling you that things are going well at the minute. They haven't a clue, and make sure you tell them that. Don't be afraid to do that. Back onto more easily digestible topics. So this is the wettest hole of all wet holes on both farms. This paddock here, there's a base and a dip in the middle of it, you'll see it there. It's one of the lowest lying fields up at this side of the farm, and always wet historically, but it's dry. You could drive slurry tanker and tractor on that this minute. So the plan is to get this grazed out of it now. So they're out here today and they're going to come back out here tonight. Like I said, they have been in by night, getting right clover silage, but they'll come back out here tonight just to get that grazed. And Paul is doing the same then with wetter paddocks on the other farm. And out here then is the first field they went out on. So you can see there, it actually is greening up. Now, the good will go out of that very fast until it gets fertiliser. It needs fertiliser. Fertiliser is ordered and it will be here this week. I'd imagine today now. Just usual story, bank holiday. Impossible to get anything done before or after. But it should be here today and I'll spread for tomorrow on everything that's grazed. I want to do a grass walk like I said today now, and anything that's ahead of particularly heifers now. If it stays dry, we want to get heifers out because we're really only 6 weeks away from breeding them, so they need to get grass into them if we can, if the weather stays with us. But paddocks that are marked up for heifers, when I do a grass walk today, if they're way behind, I will spread them with fert as well. I don't like forward spreading fertiliser. I prefer to follow animals with fert, but if there's no grass there, it's a very different year this year. If there's no grass there ahead of heifers, I will forward spread with that. And maybe even some dry paddocks that I know I'll get cows out on, even if it comes wet and there's no grass on them. I might forward spread them as well, and then we'll spread everything that's grazed so far. Here's just a look at this lane. I didn't get to show you it finished. I hadn't time the last day. But it's got a skim of screenings out on top. Just put out with the bucket on the loader of the tractor and dragged it back with the bucket and levelled it, and then rolled it then with the digger, which is heavier than the tractor. So it's a fair improvement now. And it took like nothing worth talking about when it comes to stone to put a skim on it. It's a bit of a dip there, I want to fill it up. But a huge improvement. And the speed difference of the cows coming in here now. Cows is running in along this part of the lane, and this was always the slowest part, a real pinch point coming in here just before the yard, and they're running in now. It makes a huge difference. In this wet hole that was here, I got all that dug out while it was dry. Once the water had drained away, dug out all the clay out of it and filled it up with stone. So there's a really good base in this now. But just look here, look at when the cows find like a softish track to walk on where it's not too stony, they'll continue to walk on that, and they'll walk single file there. So this really could do being rolled here, but it's a good job now for the minute. Jeez, that was another unbelievable day of weather. There's not a cloud in the sky there. There's a thin wind, but if you're not in the wind, it's like 15 degrees or something. Makes this job a lot easier anyway. Not really much done today, to be honest. I went to go measure grass, and plate meter, like any machine that's left sitting for the winter, you put it away and it's working, you take it out and it's broken. So the plate meter is broken. Turning on and all the rest, but it's not measuring any measurements, so it'll take the very first reading, and then as the plate slides up and down, then it's not registering anymore. I don't know. Rang Grass Tech because it was down with them last year, getting a new screen put in it, and they said to send it down, that the potentiometer thing that turns to read the measurement goes in sometimes. So look, I'm without a plate meter now anyway, so there won't be any grass measured in this week's video. What I will do, and the fertiliser was to be here today, and like I said earlier, typical post bank holiday problems, no fertiliser today either. So it's going to be Thursday now before it comes, so it'll be Friday before I'm spreading. But anyway, it'll give me a chance tomorrow. I mightn't have a plate meter, but I'll walk around. I'll walk the paddocks. I know what they're like on this side of the road, but across the road I haven't been over there since, you know, October. So go over there and see how much grass there is ahead of cows and ahead of heifers, and I'll just decide by walking it, not by what's on it, like what needs to get further ahead. Now that is some going in March, I tell you, on that field. They're going to come back out tonight and they're going to get the bottom half and they'll finish off the top half during the night, and that'll be it. About to spark the great rolling debate in the comments now. Sid was going to do this job, he will do it tomorrow, it's just he's not well today. This is his tractor. Sid's my younger brother. This is his tractor and this was his job. So we're just rolling silage ground here. And let's get the debate going in the comments right now. Pause and comment underneath whether you agree with rolling silage ground or disagree, and if you agree, why, and if not, why not. I'm not going to give my opinion away just yet. So the tractor we're in is a 3095 Massey Ferguson 2-wheel drive. For any non-Massey fans, it's a 6-cylinder tractor, but very unusual in 2-wheel drive, especially in Ireland. So that makes it kind of rare and a nice tractor to have now because of that. Hard enough to find now in Ireland 2-wheel drive. You get them 4-wheel drive, alright, but not a 6-cylinder 2-wheel drive. Anyone who was following or watching YouTube or Patreon last year would have seen the tractor came last summer, and it was ropey enough now when it came. But Sid and Paul have been doing bits at it as they go, and after tidying up, lovely now. It wants to be fully resprayed and it wants new tyres and different things, but for the minute it's presentable. They split it here over the winter before calving starts, and they did up the transmission in it and put a new clutch in it. So I think the engine is the next on their list, and then fully respray it. Now wouldn't that be a lovely oak going through the bed of the moor? That's why we're rolling this. A mineral leak bucket. When that's full, then just go to the headland and empty her out. So, I totally disagree with roll this time of the year, or any time of the year really. I think you're compacting the soil and doing more harm than good, except in the position we're in now, where you saw that big stone. All this silage ground got dung last year and there's lots of stones in it. And if you don't want to ride off your mower, you have no choice but roll it. So the roller isn't full of water, there's very little water in it. Enough to push down the smaller stones, and then I'm picking the bigger stones. And we'll do that in every field that's close to silage. We're rolling for the sake of putting these fancy stripy lines in the field. No, if these fields hadn't got done, we wouldn't be rolling. And just on this, if anyone else has a 2-wheel drive, 3095, let me know in the comments. I don't think you can send pictures into YouTube comments like Facebook, but send me pictures on Instagram. So Instagram is Tobin Farms 1, at Tobin Farms 1, and our Facebook I think is at Tobin Farms 1 as well. So yeah, send pictures of your 3095's 2-wheel drive, or just your 2-wheel drive Massey Fergusons in general. Just since I took that clip, just another little bit of info on that tractor. So I found out that you had a 3090, so anyone that knows Masseys will know this anyway, but there was a 3090 Massey Ferguson, and it was the range before that one, and it had a 6354 6-cylinder Perkins engine in it, and what they did then was they brought out the 3095, and that was upgraded by put a new engine in it, so it got 1000 series Perkins. They were pretty much all 4-wheel drive, and they got Massey's new Dynashift transmission. What makes that one so rare is that it's some of the very first of the 3095s, so it's that couple of months between switching from the 3090 range to the 3095 range, and that's what makes it so unusual. At the time it wouldn't have been a good tractor at all because it has the AB range transmissions that were in the 3090s, and they weren't good gearboxes, not good to use, very soft. So she would have been between 100 and 300, I'm told, of those tractors made in two-wheel drive, because they didn't like making the 3095s in two-wheel drive, and almost none had that AB range transmission because it was a carryover from the 3090s, so it was just leftover stock. Not a good tractor at the time. The only thing that made it better than the 3090 was the engine in it, and then someone ordered it in two-wheel drive and ordered it with the bad transmission that was in the 3090s. But it makes the tractor unusual now, and it will make it more valuable in the future. So just one little bit of a fact on the 3095. That'll be it for today's video. Got the rolling finished after the whole size block was rolled. Sid came on, he felt better, and he finished rolling it. It was all rolled before the rain, which is fantastic. We got plenty of rain then. The last 2 nights the cows have been in here by night again, and they're going out by day. Ground is still dry because it had dried so well, and we'll keep motoring through it as best we can for the minute. And we'll talk to you next week.